Culture Warriors. Yeah. Unchained. Let's go. Lines in the sand, welcome to the front row. Real life hitting, everybody wanna know. When the spin get thick, who cuts through the chain? AK, David Drew stepping into the frame. Late nights, boots in the dirt. From the grind to the house, to the scarf, to the grease stain shirts. Parents, pegrees fight for what's true. From the clinic to the warehouse, to your living room. Headlines screaming, but we ain't scared. Faith in our bones, yeah, we came prepared. Culture Warriors Unchained. Where the real ones meet the rage. Where the truth cuts through the noise. Every voice on the stage. Culture Warriors Unchained. From the heartland to your brain. If you're tired of the script, we're here to break the chain.
Welcome, everyone. We are Culture Warriors Unchained, coming at you this week with an awesome episode. Tons of news, tons of pop culture, and we got some great guests here. To start off our hour one, we're going to dive into some people have passed away. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away right after a plane ride from Ukraine, and so it seemed like everything was fine, and then takes a toll for the worst. So I'll jump into that. State Department deports illegal alien pardoned by Tim Walz. Graham Plattner withdraws from the main Senate race. And preliminary hearing for Tyler Robinson ends Candace Owens' credibility. Candace Owens has been on a 9-month tirade of some wild things. So we're going to get into that. Now we're going to deal with the actual law that kind of goes into it and not all the conspiracy theories and things that gets clicks and sponsors and wine moms to stay on the edge of their seat listening to what Candace has to say. But before all that, after all that, in hour two, that's going to be more of our free-for-all, get to know our guests, and maybe have some time for some wheel of news when it comes to Minnesota Smallies. Fly upside down American flag. ICE agents use lethal force on Mexican national. DOJ to send election monitors to Minnesota and other states. Mitch McConnell, what's going on with him lately in the hospital? Mystery continues. Palm Beach Airport officially renamed for Donald Trump Airport. And unfortunately, sad for me, death of Sam Neill, unofficially dinosaur supervisor. So, and other many, many awesome roles. Merlin is one of my favorites. We'll get into that. Before we do, check out Culture Warriors Unchained every Monday at this time on the Bat Channel. Bat Channel. When it comes to checking out news, pop culture, having some laughs, and having a good time. And we are on Rumble. We're on X. We're on all your other places you can get podcasts. So Facebook has been a big one. And then later on the replay when it comes to iTunes, Apple, Pandora, Google, Spotify. But for now, let's welcome our guests. So we got John, Sergeant First Class, right? Tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll throw it to Scott afterwards.
All right. Hey, Drew, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. So I was in the United States Army, and I was a Sergeant First Class, and I was involuntarily separated. So that's that IS in between my rank and name. Involuntarily separated, John DeLarme. Basically over the COVID-19 mandate, I refused to take an EUA product. I joined the military December 2004. I was a jump master, drill sergeant for 3 years. And then I was a platoon sergeant, Fort Bliss, Texas, when we went through all the craziness of COVID. And then ultimately, I realized what they were doing was illegal on the grand scheme of things. So I decided not to take the shot because I didn't want to be an experiment. And so November of 22, I was involuntarily separated.
Now we'll dive in that. Nowadays, you're doing awesome things on podcasts I've been on before.
Yep. Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. That was an awesome podcast. And so I created the Forgotten Soldiers podcast pretty much right after I was involuntarily separated, just so I can get the information out to individuals of what was going on in military service. And, I joined up with Scott and we started running the podcast together, and we interview service members that are vaccine injured, service members that got kicked out, involuntarily separated, officers that resigned, you name it, has to do with COVID. We hopefully touched it or will at some point in time.
Yeah, can't forget that stuff. Scott, what about you? Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Scott Lauderbaugh, I'm Tech Sergeant, retired United States Air Force. I'm a chef. I've been a chef in the military since the beginning, 1993. I enlisted in the United States Navy, did about 6 years there, and then went over to the Army Reserves. Still a chef there. Had a break in service for about 4 years, went to culinary school, got my degree, and then jumped back in to the Air National Guard for 12, and then the last 5/6 Air Force Reserves, honorable discharge for all branches. I fought the mandates, fought the COVID vaccine mandates on my base, stood up for my airmen as an NCO. That's our duty. John did the same for his side of things. Your duty is to take care of your people and protect them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, no matter what. And that's what I did for my airmen. And I watched basically before my eyes the base go from lightness to darkness in a blink of an eye. And we saw some horrendous things in the military back in 2021-ish, all the way to the current time. So fight it through that. And then again, just like John said, we were alone in the beginning, and then basically got together as I believe God brought us together. So all of us, I mean, all service members and everything in this fight. So, and just been interviewing, service members that have fought, are continuing to fight. And here we are, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been awesome connecting with you guys over the last couple of years. And on the show, we've been talking about all the stuff, duty, disobey. We've had Skip on recently, and I think our first guest was John Frankman. So yeah, means some awesome people. And I met these guys the last couple of years in the similar communication and just crazy stuff that's been going on for the last 5 years. David, my co-host, you can attest. You got to keep your lunch guy, your chef happy, right? When you're in the military, you can't piss them off.
Yep. That's completely correct. I learned when I was in that there's a couple people you want to really like you. One's the medic, one's somebody that works in the cafeteria, and then somebody in supply. That way you always get what you need. You're not hungry. And when there's only 3 rounds of morphine, if you're one of the ones that need it, you get it. Absolutely.
Who are you, David? What do you do?
I am David Webster, the Peruvian gentleman, and what I bring as the third leg of this show is the legal immigrant perspective and just the immigrant perspective. Military veteran myself, United States Army, and all around nerd, lover of good books and good storytelling, and I just care about both the politics of going on in this country and also the culture and what we're doing. Are we celebrating what makes us here in America, and do our stories, does our entertainment, does all those things reflect that?
Awesome. And then on the Patriot side, AK, what's going on?
The Patriot side. My name is AK Kamara. I am actually the Republican National Committeeman that represents the Republican Party of Minnesota to the National Republican Party. And I'm here to show that you can literally be a Republican Party official. That's what I am. And be like a normal working class guy. I rock the hat with the flag because I love this country, the greatest country that has ever existed in all time. And really, again, my goal is to be able to show people that you can be active and involved. And I encourage everyone to get active and involved in politics. And that's actually how we turn our culture. So first, culture flows downstream to politics. So if you have a bunch of people that think that politics is stupid and they never want to get involved, then politics is going to remain being stupid. So get active, get involved, and that's what I'm here to provide for the show. But yeah, just want to also shout out to everyone that's watching. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. At the end of the show, we're going to talk about a way that you can actually support financially the podcast. So we have a Subscribe Star, basically a subscription service that's out there now. But without further ado, kick it back over to you, Drew. and
Yeah.
let's get this ball rolling, brother.
Let's
Who
jump
are you
right
and what do
into
you
it.
do, man? Just kidding.
Yeah, let's pull up the story for Lindsey Graham. Like him, love him, hate him, despise him, whatever. He's served in the military, passed away, been a politician. Some say he's more hawkish on a lot of things. But yeah, he's a soul. He's one of God's children, and my and others' opinions. So I'm not going to stomp on anybody's grave, regardless of who it is. But yeah, I think it's the right thing to do to talk about a soul leaving the earth and the good that he did on here. And we can talk about, missteps and here and there. But yeah, well, I'll throw it over to you, David. You want to talk us through this article?
Longtime GOP Senator Lindsey Graham dies at 71 after brief and sudden illness. Let's see here. Just the fast facts from Fox is that he was at the age of 71 when he passed away. He represents South Carolina since 2003 and previously served 4 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. Graham was a longtime member of the Senate Judiciary and Armed Services Committees. He served in the U.S. Air Force and U.S. Air Force Reserve, retiring as a colonel after a 33-year career. Senate Majority Leader John Thune called Graham a trusted advisor and colleague and said his influence will be felt for generations. And it looks like they're saying the medical examiner in the District of Columbia released preliminary findings Sunday regarding the death of Senator Lindsey Graham. According to the medical examiner, the preliminary examination found Graham suffered from an aortic dissection due to
arterial.
It's a cardiovascular disease. Listen, I didn't go to medical school. The death certificates will be pending until the toxicological and the microscopic testing are finalized, and at that point, the death certificate will be updated to reflect the cause of death and appropriately classify the manner of death, the statement said.
Yep,
Now,
similar to like what my mother passed away on. Your arteries, your aorta, all that stuff gets clogged, it gets inflamed, different stuff. So it's similar to that, stopping the blood flow.
I'll just say this, right? Like you already alluded to, Drew, I think that for all of the things that I disagreed with when it came to certain policy issues with Senator Lindsey Graham, I do respect that even though he took a trouncing in the 2015 run up to the 2016 election when Donald Trump, he was victorious and he conquered everyone. Lindsey Graham did turn around and really come on board with a majority of the Trump agenda. So whether we're talking about the Save America Act or so many of these other pieces, the One Big Beautiful Bill, honestly, Senator Lindsey Graham, he did come on board and help push Trump's agenda. So yeah, was he like hardcore, just loved war, love, like just want to go to war all the time, all of the memes out there? Yes, but I still think that he had a great service to this country. You can't deny that, even if you disagree with what his political beliefs were. I did want to say that I found this specific statement from Senator Mitch McConnell's office very interesting. So just real quick, Senator Mitch McConnell's press office said, Lindsey Graham was a good friend and a great American, and I am shocked and saddened by his passing. His constituents and colleagues have counted on his straight talk, conviction, and boundless appetite for a worthy fight. The Senate will miss him, and Elaine and I are keeping his family in my prayers. I just think it's interesting that they released that statement, his press office, when people like for a month have been like, is Senator Mitch McConnell dead or not? So I was going to
say, weren't they saying something about him being brain dead?
Yeah, man. So it makes it kind of weird, but I'm kind of curious from our guests, do you guys have any, good, bad, whatever thoughts on the passing of Senator Lindsey Graham?
Yeah, well, I'm now like a vaccine conspiracy theorist myself. So I have to question, like, was this, a symptom of getting a COVID-19 shot, or how many shots would that be? Because I know there's pictures out there of him actually receiving the shot. And, it's just interesting that, individuals, that are flying high altitude have some of these issues that happen. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of say was, I think you said he was serving since 2003. What do you guys think about terms? I mean, that's a long time to be in that office.
Yeah,
super
they're
long
back
time.
and forth. Like it could be like you get a bad person and you're stuck with them, but otherwise a good somebody does and more good, maybe like Lindsey Graham in some areas, that helps to you learn the stuff. Otherwise you're four and done and you're just learning the thing. Yeah,
And then he also served in the House before that, if I read that correctly.
I like the
Right.
idea of you can max out a certain office and then take those skills and then go over to Senate, go over to governor, go over to, whatever, HUD. I don't care. Just move around but don't, get in the same spot for 30 years. It depends. It's a hard one.
Yeah, so just real quick, the thing about term limits, I like the idea. Like the idea is good. The problem is that the reality that people mostly don't talk about is that staffers right now in DC, in St. Paul, in your state capitals, the long-term staffers are the ones that are actually kind of the machine that is running the system. And so if we're talking about term limits, we also would have to term limit, in my opinion, staffers.
Yeah.
And that to me would really push things along, because what you would do if you only made term limits for elected officials and not for their staff and for staffers in general is you would create a permanent bureaucracy, which we kind of already have in all of our other executive offices, which is why it's so hard to get things moving, because you have bureaucrats that know all of the little tricks and ways to stop things if you don't listen. So that's just my little piece. I'm okay with term limits. We'd have to amend the Constitution most likely, but I also would say you have to marry that to term limiting staffers as well. But yeah, that's just my little piece there. What are your thoughts, Scott, on Lindsey Graham? Did you no love lost? You're like, namaste, man, RIP or whatever, or were you like, nah, dude, I'm glad this dude gone? Just kidding.
I think kind of like what John was saying, and then if he flew back, a lot of that stuff with the pilots and the vaccine, with the if they're above like 40,000 feet or whatever, or the altitude, that could have posed some of a problem with that, or caused it, because they said that he landed and then the next day he passed away. So that may have caused it or not, or it just could have just been old age and it was, time to go. I don't know. I don't really follow a lot of that stuff. I kind of my whole thing has been military and then working with everything that we've been doing. But I am watching everything on the outside. Like I'm seeing what's happening. And then you got to also think too, it's really hard to say things. I mean, it's as far as opinions and stuff go. I mean, everybody is definitely entitled to what they want to say and everything, but in the grand scheme of things, you see different things that are on social media that give back and forth opinions on, hey, he was involved with this, as far as John McCain and all the wars and stuff like that, and those votes that went to it, and how he was against the 2020 election and things like that. And then you see, like I said, different parts of it. So, I mean, in the end, is it, that time for everybody, or is there more to come? You know what I mean? And kind of like what you were saying too, how could somebody that, has been reported that he's, not alive to be posting stuff on social media, you know what I mean? So that's another puzzle piece to the grand scheme of things that are going on in the country.
Yeah, and 71's not that
100%.
old, really. I mean, he still got a little bit of time left after that. But also, where was he flying from?
Oh yeah, from Ukraine after he
from
went and visited some
yeah.
drone facilities.
Yeah, I know. Then there's that. Yeah.
Did they test him for poison, or I mean, we gotta.
Could be anything.
I know, and here's what I'll say. I think I said it on the show before. Like when people just automatically right out the jump say, "Oh, I don't believe in conspiracies." Let's just be clear about a couple of things. Only 3 to 4 people per 100,000 annually die from an aortic dissection. So it's not like a thing that happens all the time. So that kind of does bring into was this a targeted thing? Because it's, if he just had a heart attack because his old ticker gave out, it's like, okay, but I mean, it's a pretty rare way to die, which if you were doing some I don't know, some aortic dissection guns or something, you go for the freak medical mystery because you're like, oh, that was, hey man, it kind of just happened. But yeah,
Trump
I'm
released
against any
statement
idea
saying that.
I was gonna say, I was just pulling that up
on the way back. So that they were speaking, and he's like, yep, we're gonna get the SAVE Act good to go. all this stuff. So it was like a normal day, then gets back, and then we find out later from his office or whoever represented
So
him.
the question is, what did he know about Hillary Clinton? That's the real question.
and got him.
You know what?
Never heard of her. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
about-
On this channel, we have no alleged information of any kind, and we all love our families, and none of us are in a mental state of crisis. So if anything happens to us, just saying.
So, AK, what will happen to his seat, you think?
That's a great question.
So basically, McMaster out in South Carolina is going to appoint someone to fill the rest of his term, which they have already announced that his sister is going to fill the rest of his term until there's a special election. And then that person will then go on to basically serve until the general election. So it's kind of like a round robin of how many people are going to be in there until there's a general election. But it sounds like his sister is going to serve in there. President Trump had announced that he believed that that's who they should pick in the interim, and then just basically let all of the candidates fight it out and say who's going to be in there. Here's what I say. This is not a Democrat pickup. It's just not going to be that. That's just not what's going to happen. But it does make it interesting because Senator Tim Scott is now going to be the senior senator instead of the junior senator from South Carolina. And South Carolina is a very important military state. They have a lot of military operations and business that goes out of South Carolina. So it's going to be a very expensive, coveted race, I think. And so, yeah, that's what happens next. Is it sounds like Senator Graham's sister is going to fill his term until the election's held. But they're going to have basically a general election in November with everyone else, but they're going to have a primary before that. So it's going to be pretty hard fought, man. Everyone and their grandma is going to be running in South Carolina to try and be the next senator.
I like it.
Yeah. Let's go into, we'll get to a chat in a moment, but yeah, let's go into the next story. Graham Plattner withdraws from the main Senate race just because we're talking about politics at the moment. So, but yeah, first, David, if you want to read some of the chat, you can leave out.
Yeah, so we have a hopeful pessimist. We finally have some kickback in the chat. I like it. Feel free to argue with us if you don't agree with us. Lindsay was a traitor. First name basis. That's crazy work. The first to fall in the war. Dudes like him eat Snickers upside down just to feel the veins on his tongue. I don't know.
No love lost.
You need to hold your cat a little tighter. Something is missing for you. And then the next comment they threw up was yay for nepotism. I will admit, hopeful pessimist, I'm going to side with you on this. I actually don't necessarily like that either. I feel like that's the same as, and I had this argument with somebody recently, that's the same as Michelle Obama deciding that the first lady is a job and that she has say in the government, which was a big thing she did during the Obama presidency that I was not a fan of. Because my whole thing was, I didn't vote for the Bush wives. I didn't vote for anybody else's spouses. Like, let the president be the president. That's who we elected. So I'm kind of on your side with that, where I'm like, this person wasn't elected and it's a family member, and that kind of feels wrong. I don't know. AK, you can kick back on, I guess, both of us.
Here's what I'll just say, just real quick. So if you know about Lindsey Graham's story, both of his parents died when he was like literally 19 years old, 20, and he had just joined the Air Force. And he basically adopted his 13-year-old sister and took on all of that responsibility, something that many people wouldn't do. They'd be like, I guess my sister's going to go to foster care and get adopted. And so it's more of a, if you want to say, ceremonial thing. She's not going to run. I mean, that would be shocking or surprising. It's literally just to sit in the seat and to vote the way that he would. And which means that she's going to vote to support President Trump's agenda. So like, calm down. The nepotism thing, it'd be different if like she was crowned to be the senator for the next 6 years. It's not, because Lindsey Graham is actually up for re-election.
Did you just tell me?
Senators
did you
get
just
elected.
tell me and hopeful pessimism to calm down? Have you ever done conflict resolution? That never works.
Nepotism. Calm down.
To our guests and my other co-host, anybody that's been in a relationship or married, does calm down ever work?
Really? Yes, I tell that to my wife all the time, and we just celebrated 22 years of marriage, and it works every time.
Oh,
on
all right.
27. So we'll see how that works when the next time I use it.
I think it just gets worse sometimes.
Yeah, see, in order for me to get to 27, I better listen a little bit better here, because maybe I won't make it there. But David, if you want to read this next story, my brother.
Yeah. Real quick, we have one more chat from John. It's one of our day oneers. John just said, "I was shocked to hear he passed away. I thought Mitch was the one that was going to die first. Lindsey Graham wasn't on my bingo card." I hear you.
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
that was
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, but moving on to Graham, what he's got going on. Graham Plattner formally drops out of Maine Senate race. Let's see here. Graham Plattner has formally filed paperwork to suspend his campaign for U.S. Senate in Maine, with little time to go before the deadline. The Maine Secretary of State's office confirmed the receipt of Plattner's official withdrawal on Friday, because the candidate officially withdrew 5 p.m. of the second Monday in July. His name will not appear on the ballot, and his political party may replace him, the office said in a statement, noting that the deadline, don't do that to me, for the party to name a replacement candidate is July 27th. In his letter to the Maine Secretary of State, which Plattner posted on X on Friday, he wrote that he was formally withdrawing his campaign for U.S. Senate. "My name may have been on the ballot, but that ballot line belongs to the people of Maine. As such, please consider this notice as my official withdrawal from consideration for this office," he wrote. Then the rest is...
Read the last two.
Oh, yeah, sure.
paragraphs.
Plattner announced the suspension of his campaign in an 11-minute social media video on Wednesday
11 minutes,
after
bro.
a woman
That's a long
accused him of SA, and the Democrats were doing that for YouTube, who supported him, said he should step aside. He vehemently denied the SA allegations, calling them false and not real, but said the pressure from state level and national Democrats made it impossible for his campaign to continue. He blamed the political establishment for the situation. I'm just going to go ahead and say, I don't think the political establishment was in that room with you when you did or didn't do whatever this person's saying you did or didn't do that will come out in a court of law. I mean, I've never been able to say I ran a stop sign because AK, is the RNC committee man, or, he was holding me back or something. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal, right? So we covered the story last week. It's, something that people figured was coming to a head. I was rooting so hard that he would just have so much hubris that he wouldn't suspend his campaign, so he would be stuck on the ballot. I was really hoping that happened, but yeah, 11-minute video. It's like, listen, like, I didn't watch the whole video. I fast forwarded to the end because I knew that the beginning was going to be a bunch of like empty platitudes. This is for the people of Maine. He denied everything. So like, this is important to understand. Graham Plattner, for all of the woke communists who believe and claim things like believe all women no matter what, is literally spitting in the face of their entire ideology. And he's asserting his male privilege. So I love it, man. I love when communists actually have to stand up to the scrutiny of the crazy ideals that they set forth. And I love to see them fall apart because they don't believe any of this crap. All this woke nonsense, the majority of these people that are communists don't actually believe it. They just want power. And communism is one of the best ways to usurp individuality and to empower groupthink. That's the reason why these people. So I was really bummed because, man, I think someone must have gave him a call. Barry must have called him up. Barry Obama must have said, "Graham, listen here. You don't drop out. Michael's going to come over to your house. and he will show you what it's like." And I'd be like, "God, please, no." Okay, I'm done.
I'd be so curious about the people listening to the calls or the message or reading the messages. I mean, if our stuff is, get leaked and, sent over and get monitored, I'm curious about what their conversations are like. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. They don't do this all it's all, planned, and they talk, I'm sure.
So our guests, what do you guys? What is your guys' take on this situation with Plattner?
If you're going to start something, and that's what you feel in your heart, and that's what you want to do, and you want to make the country better, and you want to serve because it's a position of serving, then if somebody's falsifying a claim saying you did something that you didn't do, why would you drop out? right? You don't
Yep.
drop out. You say, no, I didn't do that. I don't care what you say. And you move forward and you push forward because you know that you didn't do it. I'm not saying he did or didn't do it, but I'm just saying individual like me, if that's what I was going to do and I put my mind to it and someone's making something up that I didn't do, I'd be pretty furious, and I sure as heck wouldn't drop out. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Real quick, we got a couple of people jumping in the chat here. Hopeful Pessimist says, you got to love when your accusers conveniently wait until a highly contested election to come forward. Yeah. And then they followed that up with literally the same tactics used against Trump, rinse and repeat. I would second that. Virtual Gamers says hello, F1J. I don't know if this is the first time they've watched the show, but welcome.
They're very excited with their
lots of hand
emojis.
waving.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about hopeful pessimists. Like, listen, just because Trump was done dirty by the legacy corporate media, Graham Plattner represents literally the establishment of the Democrats. Okay, like understand he is in lockstep with the Democrat establishment right now. That is who they are going towards. Like every Democrat that is on the upswing went to go and support him in a primary run. Tim Walz, okay, all of these Democrats. So no, it's not like Trump in any way, shape, or form. I think Graham Plattner is a disgusting dude, and he pushes communist ideology. And I think that he actually did these things. So don't try and make this like a, oh man, Graham Plattner's on the outside, man. He's a populist standing up for. No, he's not.
I don't know
He
that
wants
they're necessarily going that route. I just think they're saying that, and maybe I'm playing devil's advocate for this person. The left likes to eat itself. Yeah, whatever they use to take down the conservative, they're up against the Republican, they're up against the libertarian, they're up against. They're also going to use the same tactics against each other. I mean, all you have to do is look at Minnesota politics right now, right, with Flanagan and how that's going and the mudslinging they're doing.
Yeah, but Flanagan represents the establishment as well. Like Andrew Craig has less power in the state of Minnesota, as guaranteed by the fact that she didn't win the actual endorsement for the Democrats. So, but yeah,
give you that
neither
one.
here nor there. I know that I'm very biased in my disdain of Democrats and what these communists are up to, but you know, that's kind of where I'm at. Just kind of curious from anyone else's perspective. Do you think that this changes anything in Maine? Listen, Susan Collins, she's in Maine. She has a lot of awful votes, but from time to time, she comes through clutch for President Trump's agenda, which is what I'm always hyper focused on. Do you think that there's a better chance that with Graham Plattner out, that a Democrat that replaces Graham Plattner can win? Or do you think that they would have to like completely disavow Graham Plattner and then they kind of like shoot themselves in the foot when it comes to getting the communists on their side anyway? So I'm just kind of curious if you guys think that there's any daylight for Democrats to pull this thing through just from your perspective of what you've seen, or you're like, nah.
It's definitely not the John F. Kennedy Democrat Party of old, that's for sure. And if it has something to do with socialism and communism and everything, Trump had already stated that you can't be a communist and a patriot. You can only be a patriot. There's no pick a side. So that's where you're at.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from Democrats these days. So it's only going to get worse on their side. So
eyes on, head on a swivel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Real quick, couple chats here. Let's see. Virtual Gamer just said, yes, I just joined. Well, welcome. We salute you, and we are honored to be the show that you signed up to YouTube for. And it looks like they wanted to throw us a question, probably to start an argument. What are your guys' thoughts on Kamala Harris? Do you want to take that, or should we just move on, Drew?
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, who?
At least I don't need to. Well, I did hear that she's doing speaking engagements and a book and stuff like that, because that's what old politicians do. Failed ones, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. I'd say just go do your thing, laugh and cackle and drink wine, and just stay away from America.
Listen, I'd go to one of those speaking events just to hear her slur some words. I mean,
would you,
dude? I'd film pieces of it and respond to it, that would do numbers online. You know it would. I'd bring it back
There you
for
go.
us.
Kamala Harris
I would
has
bring it back for us
Side
to react
project
to
for
as a group.
David. Peruvian gentleman.
She has one of the most grating voices.
I'm going to
of all
Google whether or
voices
not
in
she's
politics.
coming to
Peruvian gentleman
Minnesota
is going to get
anytime
an interview with the former, possibly first lady or first president
Border czar.
lady.
She's the border czar. Come on, now.
Never.
I don't even want to
Give her,
go.
No, I
you gotta
hope she
give her
runs.
her titles.
All right, what's
I hope
going
she
on
runs.
with Tim Walz pardoning illegal alien?
Yeah, he's just doing Tim Walz.
Doing Tim Walz stuff. Yeah, if you guys don't know, John and Scott, Tim Walz is quite the guy in Minnesota in the last 5 years. At least I've been following that, and he's hasn't been that awesome to me and the time that I was in the National Guard. So, but that's just my opinion. But let's see what Tim Walz is up to lately.
David, do you want to read this or you want me to read it, bud?
Sorry, I was looking at the chat. Rubio reveals child. We won't use that word. Assault. We'll just say that. Controversially pardoned by Walz, deported from the United States. And let's see here. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Friday said that the child, we won't say that word, from Minnesota was deported from the country after Governor Tim Walz pardoned the sex offender, removing the criminal conduct conviction underlying his deportation order. Walz was on the 3-person panel that pardoned Tu Lu Vang in June, around a week before he was set to be deported from the United States following his apprehension by the Department of Homeland Security during Operation Metro Surge in December. The pardon stoked controversy as Vang was convicted of SA crimes against a 10-year-old girl, which he pleaded guilty to in 2005.
Ugh.
I was still in high school, so this has been ongoing for a minute. Amid the backlash, Rubio stepped in to terminate Vang's legal status in the U.S., telling Fox News Digital Americans should never have to live in fear that foreign predators are being shielded from deportation by their own elected officials could endanger them or their children. And those are subscription plans.
Yeah. So ultimately, like we're living in this clownish world right now where you literally have Democrat officials. So in Minnesota, to pardon someone that's convicted of a felony, it's the governor, the attorney general, who's the top cop, and also the chief justice of the Minnesota Supreme Court. They got together and they decided, yes, we are going to pardon a convicted sex offender who literally for 2 years, when he was I think he was 18 or 22, somewhere around there, over and over and over again, literally raped a 10-year-old girl. And he said it was cultural. Like in our culture, we sometimes marry kids, and so convicted. And they said, all right, you've served your time, even though he didn't serve any jail time, which is a whole other thing. But we're going to overturn this, so you will not be deported by Trump and his administration. That's why they did it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It's crazy, but that's where we're at in this.
It was that's just
country,
how
man.
their people are, and it's like, should we? For one, we're in our country, our Minnesota state, and whatever jurisdiction, and it's like, no, we have laws in each one of those sets. Just like when you're in the military, you fall under both, or the military. Well, sometimes feel like you fall under everything if you do the wrong thing, and an MP gets you. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. It's like, oh my gosh, who's going to come after me? My first sergeant, the commander, but yeah, no, we have laws in all the things. If everyone else has to abide by all these laws, then especially illegal criminals need to as well. And then when you do finally get convicted of that, or accused, and everything, it goes down and you weren't able to appeal and all that. And then, like you said, AK, that sounds like the top three. That sounds like all three branches of the government and the top ones in the state all were like, yeah, we're going to let this one go. And that sounds like above the law to me. Not cool in my book. Yeah, I'm glad Marco Rubio can be like, no, we're not doing this.
That kind of makes me question the morals of the individuals that release them. I mean, regardless of their political thought process and how things work, like, Any normal moral individual would just not do that unless they're involved in the same type of behavior. And that's just what I think would be happening there.
Well, and from the human side of it, Walls has a child. Walls has a daughter. Like,
yeah, but a lot of those
where's
things
your
don't matter.
where's your head at?
People that do the same stuff that individual did that have children.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying as far as the pardoning part of it goes, like you also have a family.
Well,
where's your head at? This person is now going to be
Walls
free on the
morals
streets
that you
where
do.
you're.
And
What's
we'll
that?
act on them, and we'll make decisions based on common morals you think we would have as a father, as different. But
Yeah, I just listen. When people are searching for an answer, understand that the reasons that the Democrats gave is that this guy has children, he's a member of the community, even though he is an illegal alien, meaning that he was here without legal permission. This opened up this path where Democrats could say, well, no, listen, we are going to stand up against the Trump administration deporting people that we say have been rehabilitated. Now, myself personally, okay, I don't believe that people that commit those type of offenses ever are truly rehabilitated. I understand that for some people, you just can't keep them locked up forever. I wish we kind of could, to be quite honest with you, or put them into like, a colony that's specifically for people that do that to children for the rest of their life. And you could have it like be like an island and they have to fight for the rest of their life or whatever. They get an opportunity to choose life, but they're on an island with other people like them for the rest of their life. But the idea that literally, guys, a governor, an attorney general, and the chief justice of the Supreme Court of Minnesota all said, yeah, not that big of a deal. So he wouldn't get deported. That was the reason. And there's just no other thing that makes logical sense. That's how against being, deporting illegal aliens these people are, or people that have a legal status that allows them to not be deported, that would have allowed them to. And so, that's what this all comes down to, is that Democrats have decided that they're going to plant their flag on an issue like this. And other than just them being so anti-Trump and be so deranged, it doesn't even make sense. There's just no way to defend it. So shout out to Marco Rubio for saying we're just going to revoke his status. We don't care.
Well, yeah, if that's within his power, then go for it. Yep. I'm glad it got on his radar. We have, like I said, we have laws and rules for the country, and and different ones for the state. And just because they thought he's okay in the state doesn't mean that changed the fact that you're breaking a federal law.
110%.
Yeah.
Well,
the other thing on that, too, is that if they deport him, if he goes to his own, then they have to deal with the repercussions, or that person's got to deal with the repercussions of those laws in that country too. So say, for instance, if it's execution, and they convict them, then it's adios. So
yep,
true. Got to think about that too.
Yeah,
there's not this laws that are here in this country are not the same. They don't have a constitution like we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
My only pushback on what Drew said is he's here. He's now here illegally, right? Now that they revoked his status, and I think to your point, I agree. If you come here as an immigrant, as a refugee, you should be held to the standard of our laws, to the level that law enforcement is essentially held to it, because you're a guest here, right? You don't have a natural birth citizenship right to live in this country. That doesn't mean you can't be in this country, which I'm sure somebody will clip this and say that's what I said.
What was that, David? So what was his status before he was here?
He was I believe he was detained for the crimes, and I think they let him go. I don't know, but they're saying that they revoked his status, or Marco Rubio revoked his status. So that means that he had potentially legal immigrant status, and maybe they held him to verify his status, which they were doing, right? They would hold people and verify their status. And that may be why he was let go. And then the conviction stuff was happening, and Walls decided to pardon him to keep the deportation from happening. That's potentially what I see there. But either way, at this point, at this stage in the game, he's now an illegal alien. So obeying our laws is kind of out the window. Like now, the first law you broke, which is you're not supposed to be here. So I'm fully behind this move by Marco Rubio and the Trump administration.
You got to continually to earn it. I just keep comparing it. Like I said, I was in Japan. Like, what if I went over there, became, did the right thing, but then started doing bad things? Like, what could happen? And then just expect the same thing. All right. Well, yeah, let's jump into what's going on with Tyler Robinson. So the individual that, you could say allegedly, but he's in court for the murder of Charlie Kirk. And if you've been following anything about Candace Owens, she's been on this topic ever since. So, Dave, if you want to,
I spent entirely too much time listening to her rants just to kind of try to figure out if there was a semblance of common sense in there somewhere, or nothing. But according to this article, what we've learned from a week-long Charlie Kirk assassination hearing, this is from NBC News. Tyler Robinson, the 23-year-old suspect of the killing of prominent conservative political activist, faces an aggravated murder charge. Scroll down.
I guess I didn't have the rest of it.
You got to pay for that. Let me see if I can pull it up on Ground News real quick.
We're gonna jump over here. It's gonna be this political article, and that's probably gonna also give us a paywall. But just try and go for it. Here we go.
You got it. Okay. So this is from Politico. Less than 1 month after Charlie Kirk's death, Candace Owens made an incendiary claim. Kirk came to her in a dream and told her he had been betrayed. Owens, a conservative podcaster, I don't think that's accurate journalism, who worked for, I think grift is maybe more accurate, who worked for Turning Point USA from 2017 to 2019, had taken it upon herself to investigate Kirk's death, homing in on potential betrayers. On her popular podcast, she denied that Tyler Robinson, the troubled 23-year-old from Utah who was standing trial for allegedly murdering Kirk, had acted alone. She suggested Israel somehow played a role. She also said Charlie Kirk's former colleagues at Turning Point, including his wife, Erica Kirk, should face scrutiny. Everything Turning Point is doing is wrong, Owens said on her podcast a little over a month after Kirk died. I want war with all of you, okay? All of you. At first, Turning Point did little to push back. Then Owens dialed in on two of Charlie Kirk's confidants who were present when he was killed. Turning Point Chief of Staff Mikey McCoy and contracted camera operator Terrell Farnsworth. McCoy had appeared on video holding his hands to his ears moments after Kirk's death, something Owens found suspicious, and Farnsworth drew her attention over a selfie video he recorded in shock as Kirk's body was whisked away. Owens said she found their actions to be quite strange. That's rich coming from Candace. There is no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal. On a late October episode of The Charlie Kirk Show, producer Blake Neff called the claims that Turning Point staffers were part of some sort of conspiracy utterly vile. McCoy declined to comment. This was one of the first times Turning Point acknowledged the conspiracies publicly, but privately mayhem was unfolding inside the organization. Following Owens' controversial or conspiratorial videos, staffers received a series of threats, and Turning Point ramped up security at its Phoenix headquarters and the homes of several employees, according to three people with direct knowledge of the arrangements who, like others in this piece, were granted anonymity to discuss private matters. One of those people took their family into hiding multiple times and eventually moved into a rental property so their name would not appear on public documents. The home they own is now rented out. This person also told Politico magazine they spent thousands of dollars scrubbing their children's images from the internet. Several others who work for or with Turning Point received death threats after Owens mentioned them on her show. Out of concerns for their safety, they hired private security. Farnsworth, a contracted camera operator, feared for his life. After multiple death threats, he and his wife pulled their kids out of school and went into hiding for over a week. According to the three people familiar with Turning Point's security arrangements, as well as the fourth person with direct knowledge of the situation, Farnsworth has declined to comment.
So I don't think we need to read any more of the Politico article. But here's what this really boils down to, right? There was a preliminary hearing, right, for Tyler Robinson, the person who is being charged with the murder of Charlie Kirk, and so many people that are online that have decided that Candace Owens' line of thinking and her theories about what actually unfolded didn't understand that this wasn't the actual trial. Like, it's a preliminary hearing that establishes essentially a lot of legal framework for what can actually occur and be presented during the trial. I think people either watch too many TikTok videos, or maybe, especially the younger kids, they just haven't been immersed enough in I guess the reality of what happens during a trial. They think that what was on Law and Order or whatever shows that maybe their parents watch and that we watch, that's how court actually happens. It doesn't. But the crazy part, you can go and watch these law YouTubers and watch how trials work and understand, like, everyone that had just an iota of legal training or that has watched an actual trial was just dunking all over these people, because it's like, how do you not know these basic things about how a trial works? This is a preliminary hearing about setting the groundwork for what can be included as evidence for the actual trial. And
People
Candace
want
just kept on saying the dumbest thing.
Yeah. And then Candace knows this. Like, I keep hearing that she's intelligent but manipulative, and she's going from, she was in each place. I think she was she was first on her own, Red Pill Black YouTube stuff, and at some point Charlie Kirk picked her up and said, be my director of communication, and that turned into something higher up. And then left there, went to PragerU, and we're doing hosts there. She interviewed Mario Lopez and was diving into the trans your kids mentality. And then she got him to say that, like, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to, trans your kids at 3 years old. And then that turned into a whole kind of controversy. He had to, like, deny it or, push back and retract what he said. And then she gets picked up for Daily Wire. And then that turned into a big back and forth. And she went back and forth with Ben Shapiro. Recently, Ben Shapiro did this thing where he did a whole show doing her mannerisms, like, I'm just asking questions. And he did a whole thing for like a half an hour on his show. Basically,
she recently called him out too and added him to the list of people she's accusing of this. And that was even post the start of, like, all these hearings and all this evidence being revealed. Real quick, we got one chat from John here. Says, Candace Owens used to be very respectful. Personal opinion here, I actually had a lot of respect towards her, and now it's just like can she just go away? I would agree with that. I went into it with an open mind, but yeah, I felt I felt it looked like she was mourning the death of someone that, it looked like this unrequited love lost situation is what it looked like from the outside looking in, and just lashing out at everybody who was around this person, because her life had taken her over here.
And then also referring back to the whole, like, Lindsey Graham kind of stuff, Candace Owens did some amazing things when it came to George Floyd in a documentary by the Daily Wire. Who knows who all had, impact on it, but she had a strong hand in making that documentary about what really went on with Derek Chauvin, George Floyd. And she also covered a lot when it came to the COVID mandate, COVID vaccine injury. She has a knack at diving into stuff, but she knows she can direct the ship into the way in the waters,
the direction she wants to go, yeah,
and monetize it like crazy.
100%. I'm just kind of curious from John and Scott. Have you tracked this Charlie Kirk stuff, the assassination? Have you tracked any of the Candace Owens or that kind of side of the interwebs about what they think about what potentially could have happened to Charlie Kirk instead of what the quote unquote official narrative is?
Yeah, well, I've tracked in the beginning when it happened to Charlie. I think everybody kind of seen a lot of the information that was coming out there. They had that, film that was playing on social media where it looked like the bullet went into the shirt, but it didn't go in the shirt. And it looked like it came out from the backside. And it kind of, the way they portrayed it, and then where the gunshot came from and how the individual, had this, giant weapon trying to sneak it into this place and sneak out with it, and it didn't even fit in his bag. And so there's a lot of information coming out of that. I will say about Candace Owens, I watched a few of her episodes, and she's a very smart, intelligent woman. As far as leading into Charlie Kirk, I didn't really go into that too much because there was just so much information that was put out there. With all that disinformation being put out there, and also probably factual information as well, it's hard to make a determination, especially now with like AI and how they can manipulate certain things and portray things. So I kind of didn't go down that rabbit hole, but from what I did see from Candace Owens, and I wasn't tracking her recently with Charlie Kirk, so I don't know that whole background there. But knowing her before and kind of watching her and how intelligent she was, I mean, I would almost venture to say she probably did go down some rabbit hole and discover some stuff that she may have not supposedly should have discovered. And maybe, I don't know how she took that in and how it came out, but, maybe she's onto something and, we're just not, tracking fully. But, I respect her. She's a pretty smart, intelligent individual. And, as far as Charlie Kirk, I don't know. What the truth is, what the truth is not, and is this a kangaroo court or not? It could possibly be. I mean, there's enough information out there that could lead that way or the other way. But again, the AI stuff and the information, it's all over the place. So,
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same. I was following the whole thing from the beginning too. I mean, it's everybody's opinion, you know what I mean, and you get different stories on how the shooter supposedly ran off the top of the building and disassembled the weapon and put it back together again and hauled off and was caught and everything like that. I mean, with all the technology that we have today and cameras are everywhere and everything, we can't catch a killer. It's kind of wild. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion of it. I mean, was it really him or was he the patsy? You know what I mean? Because we all know in these assassinations, someone's the player and the other one's the real shooter. So the distractions are there. So it's just something to keep open mind. It's a shame what takes place in this country. You know what I mean? And we would thought that we would learned a lot from the Kennedy assassination and all the other assassinations in this country, which is unfortunate. And these people need to be taken care of. I mean, there's no other way. Once they get caught, my opinion, they need to, be handed the book. So
Yeah. And then like AK said, like it's a not instant gratification. Like it's going to take time for the legal process. It's meant to be slow and to check everything. And it's like, yeah, do you want it, 2 weeks later after the kid is caught to, thrown away, or we want to actually do our due diligence and look at all these angles. So yeah, I'm with you. It is hard to trust, agencies and people and the media and stuff like that. So, and that's why, we got shows like this. Another thing, just have discussions, protect your mind, protect your heart, and then just look into stuff. I do it more and more nowadays. Be like, who can I trust, or how far can I trust something that I'm looking into, and then look at other angles as well. So that's what we tried to do here. But yeah, that's a great. I'm glad we were able to cover some current stories, but I'd love to get into more about you guys, like we said, and just tell us how you guys got started with the podcast and everything. How about we show a little bit clip of one you recently put together? And like I said, I really appreciate you having me on an episode a while ago. It's been a little bit now, but yeah, let's see what you guys are still up to.
Good. We'll start with Ronald F. Owens. All right, so we will start with this.
I have a video I wanted to play.
Okay.
So put it on FaceTime?
Yes, face up.
Down or face up?
Face up.
Face up? Yeah. Okay. I gotta take the volume off.
Can you prep this a little bit? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so we did an X space. It's called End All Tyranny. We did that with Julie, and I believe they go on every night around, I want to say 8:30, maybe I got the time wrong, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And it's called End All Tyranny. And we did a space, and we were obviously talking, and Ronald goes on there all the time. And him and Julie are good friends. And Ronald had asked some of us if we could basically sent him a video about the Duty to Disobey documentary, and basically letting the Sacramento board know like why they should go watch this documentary, why it's important, why we think they should go. And so Ronald bought tickets for them. So he's going to play the video that I sent him, and then he's going to give them the tickets. And that's kind of...
Just set it here.
Let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me time to speak. I am a U.S. Army veteran. I served 17 years and 10 months in service. I was illegally separated from military service for refusing to take an emergency use product known as the Pfizer vaccine for COVID-19. The military violated U.S. Code 1107 Alpha and retaliated against myself and thousands of other service members for being whistleblowers during the illegal, unlawful General Austin COVID-19 mandate in August of 2021. Our local and state representatives use the military and veterans as a tool to gain favor with the public. It is time to stop using us as pawns and start doing your job. If you care about this country, it's a no-brainer. You would support the military and its veterans. I am honored to be in the documentary Duty to Disobey. To show your support, I ask that you watch the documentary and start learning the truth about the COVID crimes and corruption to the military, veterans, and the entire United States population. Covering up or ignoring this issue is no longer acceptable. Show up, do your job, and protect the public. You can start by watching this documentary. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me time to speak.
That was John DeLarme, and he served our country honorably. As he indicated, he's in the documentary Duty to Disobey. It's being shown on June 30th across the United States, in Sacramento specifically, at the Tower Theater, 6:30 p.m., June 30th. I have tickets for all the supervisors to go. If I had the money, I'd buy tickets for everybody to attend this very important documentary. So I'm going to hand the tickets to the clerk of the board, and I hope to see you guys on Tuesday, June 30th at the Tower Theater. Thank you.
That's awesome right there. Yeah, that's just a good way to, get things out there, use the public, process that we're given by our government, and that's a great way to do it. Good job covering that.
Yeah, thank you. And also, if you read so I highlighted what he had posted after the documentary, and he's basically stating that those 5 members of the board did not go watch the documentary.
Okay.
So it's just another thing that happened.
So I just want to...
I'd say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
And basically, like I was saying, everybody remember we basically put everything together. Show us where they were playing.
There we are.
Yeah, hey. It's a good-looking group.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
Super dope.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to CW3 Cameron Smith. He actually put together that intro music for us. So we've been using that for a while. So thank you, Cameron.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Great job. You guys posting that, putting it together, working with other people. Yeah, well done. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so if you keep playing through that, basically it's going to show some of the video. I think Lance Cashley actually recorded it, so you can kind of hear his kid playing in the background. But basically I took snippets off social media to kind of show that there's other individuals throughout the United States that went and watched this important documentary, just to show that it wasn't a localized thing. It was all throughout the United States. And, I'm hoping that individuals will see it and kind of be interested in what it was about. And, you can still get a DVD. So as you guys know, I was a little disappointed in the fact that not a lot of individuals showed up. A lot of tickets were sold. Not a lot of people showed up. And then, I think that kind of happened, for the most part everywhere, which is very disappointing because, as you guys know on here, like was a very important documentary, and the way they portrayed the documentary and the way it came out was very informative. And like a lot of people just have no clue, and it seems like they have no interest in knowing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely say like our only theater in Minnesota, other than Grand Forks, which is way up by Canada, down here in the cities, Roseville.
Dang, man, come on, man, that's my
Hey,
homeland.
They're
My
great.
people,
They're great. I'm just saying,
North Dakota.
What I'm saying is, in the democratically held Minneapolis-St. Paul area, we are able to get 96% sold online, and I can say for myself, being in the theater and AK and I brought AK and David there as well. It was pretty full. Like it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, there really wasn't a ton of open seats. It was nice to see.
Yep, that was good.
I think for us on our end, with Jen, she sold probably around the same amount of tickets as far as the tickets go. And then as far as people who showed up, I believe she had stated that there was around 65. That include children and stuff like that too, because we had other people that were there. Other military service members that brought their family members and things of that nature too. So, but I thought, setting up and coming up there and the trips and everything that we made up there and putting it out, I thought it was great. I know different areas were not as fortunate as others, probably due to what John was saying. Either they just didn't know about it, or just have lost interest. And that's the big problem about a lot of this, is because American citizens don't actually know like what took place. They do, they lived it. They think that, okay, they're out of the woods. We got past it. We could live again, and so forth. But it's not like that. You got to look at what crimes were committed against the American public, not just the military, but we were like the start, you know what I mean? If we're going to take it, then they're going to be able to put it on the rest of the population. It goes for, fire department, EMT. That's everybody, every person. You know what I mean? We know what happens and what has transpired in the past 6 years, and we just wanted to get the word out to the American public and let them know, hey, we're standing here. We would love to have you stand alongside us.
And that was like the big highlight, because like if they push it on the military, not too long after, they're going to push on other people. And think about where the government funds universities, K through 12, federal contractors. Anything that the government gives money to, when it comes to something like that in a time of COVID, they're like, okay, you take our money, you won that. Now we're going to have you have all your employees, over 99 employees, get vaccinated, or, whatever it may be. So yeah, it's, and it could come right back. That's why I'm so disheartened by people that just like, oh, that was a couple years ago. We're moved on from there. And talk to anybody else, that stuff can come right back.
Yep.
Already done with the flu shots that are already so it was rescinded. The mandates were, well, you want to call them mandates, I hate that damn word, but they basically put it in that they were rescinded, and then 2 weeks later they popped it back in. So it's like the restart of everything again until people start standing up against it. Because if you know what we've been seeing, they've mixed everything together. Damn well the government's just going to toss that stuff in the garbage and say, okay, it's done. No, they spent all that money. They're going to mix it in with every damn thing else, and they're going to poison people with it. They're going to do it. They're going to continue to do it until people stand up.
Yeah, and that's
the movie a little bit more. AK, what was your takeaway from the movie, and then related to the mandate?
Yeah, I think there's two things that can be true at once, and I often will say this. I don't have any problem saying, here's what my, 10,000 foot view is on this issue. I try and look at things more of how systems and people move. I think people are very easy to actually read. There's really not that many variations of how people act in large groups. And if you can kind of see, you can understand why a thing happens here and how this leads to here. Right now, we are in a phase where a bad thing happened during COVID, regardless of where the origins actually came from, regardless of what the actual data that was hidden, regardless of that, the average experience from an American or from a citizen in the world of any country was that COVID was a bad thing. And because there were so many bad things, so many failures of so many systems, people generally want to just move on. And as I've said on the show, and I've said over and over again, we can't allow that to happen, because if you allow just to be like, well, let bygones be bygones, you are letting a great injustice happen. And it actually leads to societal decay. Society will break down. And I think that we're seeing this in so many other things. Sometimes it's hard to be like, how could trust in the government bleed into saying, yeah, Charlie Kirk's assassination was probably like a government psyop? How do you get these two things to be connected? It's because institutional trust is at an all-time low. So if you're someone who served in the U.S. Armed Forces and you're like, I raise my hand voluntarily and look at all this messed up stuff that happened to me, you're going to be like, the entire system is broken. So if we want to restore some level of institutional trust to have a strong society, we have to address these issues, because if we don't, we have no social cohesion. We are a low trust society where no one trusts anything. And that, to me, this documentary is like scratching the surface of being like, yes, all these bad things happen, but we cannot forget. We cannot move on. And there's actionable items in that documentary of things that we can do to, again, my biggest thing, the reason that our country has been as great as it has been. Yes, the Constitution is great. Yes, having a foundation of individuality, having a foundation of God, all of that's good. But if we don't trust each other as a society, as a system, like in general, we will crumble. So that's, to me, my overall perspective of why this documentary is important, why we have to continue to talk about it, why this podcast, we talk about this very often, because we can't let people forget. And we need to have recompense. We need to have accountability. We need to have justice. And then we also have to make sure that we set up guardrails that this can never happen again. Otherwise, I'm telling you right now, if there was a giant medical outbreak that was real, people would be like, I don't care, because you never built the institutional trust. And I think it would be catastrophic. So yeah, that's where I'm at on everything, man.
What about you, David? What was your takeaway from the movie and related to the guys and the mandate?
Oh man, I felt this it was a combination of this deep sense of sadness and this deep sense of anger, especially having served myself. And the reality is, I just turned 37 last year. I'm turning 38 soon. We don't have to talk about that. But I enlisted at 17. My goal, my plan at the time was to do the full 20 years, get out with the pension, go find a cushy government job somewhere and just, have 2 paychecks rolling in and be all good. Obviously, I only got to do 4.5 years before my injuries ultimately sent me home. But I was sitting there, I was watching this documentary when I was sitting there next to you guys, and one of the things I thought was like, if I hadn't gone through that, and it's one of those, you're looking at things in hindsight and it's like grace of God. Like if I, at least in my life, if I had not been medically sent home, I'd still be in, all those convictions I had when I went and enlisted, like all those things would still be there. I'd still be careering it. And I would have potentially been one of the people, in that documentary, either forced to take something or kicked out for saying no. And yeah, that just, it infuriated me. And then on the other side of it, just as a veteran, like seeing how Minnesota especially treated the veteran community and used them as propaganda to get everybody else to take the COVID vaccine, or what they did with the National Guard here, forcing them all to go out and become LPNs overnight. And they're all out at these different injection sites giving people free shots. And then handing them like a coupon thing to go get a sandwich at Arby's or something. Like I still don't eat. I mean, Arby's is terrible, but I'm never going back there. We're dragging fast.
Dude, their Philly cheese steak is bomb. They gave
They
get it
gave
right
away
now.
free sandwiches for a COVID
Pay me,
vaccine.
Arby's.
No Philly cheese is worth that. I will be a hater for life. But but yeah, no, I was sitting there in the theater. I was listening to that and then hearing, more of your story, Drew, because I know you've shared a little with AK and I, but we didn't have the full details. And just seeing more of that. Yeah, I have this deep sense of anger. Like I've participated in a lot of veteran organizations and different events here. Like we did the Defend the Guard event, to protect the National Guard from future deployments here in Minnesota at the Capitol. I got to be a part of that last year. Yeah, this infuriates me.
Yeah.
That people are treated so low for doing probably one of the most important jobs in this country, right? Which is making sure we still have a country.
Exactly. Yeah, John. I mean, we've had some good moving the needle forward, moving the ball forward down the hill. What do you think so far? Like, do you think this is a big move? Do you think, there's how much more do you want to see in the future?
Oh man. Well, yeah, I think it was a pretty big move. I'm hoping that we're not just like screaming into an echo chamber, and whoever's hearing it are the same people over and over again. I feel like there are other individuals coming into play now, hearing it now, seeing what's going on. I mean, you're doing a podcast now. There's Rody Rob's doing a podcast. So there's other individuals coming on the scene trying to push the information out, which is great. And I think with this documentary, I mean, I'm planning on, ordering some more DVDs and actually using those as gifts to people, whether it comes around holidays or birthdays or just to say, hey, man, check this out. I got this for you. Because
Stocking stuffers.
Yeah, it's that.
For your liberal auntie.
Yeah, there you go.
That'll be fun.
It's definitely that important. What I would like to see, though, it goes back to Trump. I mean, Operation Warp Speed. I mean, he needs to come out and I don't know if he watched it or not, but he should. And I think he needs to come out and speak about it and be honest about it. And this country needs a leader that's going to come out and admit if they did something wrong and just be honest with the American people. And we need to start the healing process. And since, there's a lot of doctors out there that don't think anything happened, that, the vaccine's safe and effective. And until we admit it and until we attack it, there's going to be a lot of individuals suffering, as you know, Drew.
Yeah, no, I like what you said about the DVDs. I ordered 15 DVDs right away, and I'm just like, I'm going to have them ready to go in my truck, my American truck I got now that I'm talking about. But yeah, dutytodisobeyfilm.com. You can order the DVDs. They're $20 and have them shipped right to you. So yeah, I got them ready to go because I'll have conversations with people and they're like, well, what can you do? It's over. Or they're like, I have your back. What can I do to help? And I'm like, watch the DVD, purchase the DVD online, have conversations. Like, I try to be an optimist despite everything I've been through, because you just can't be down and dark and just sit on the couch and just complain, yell at the clouds. Old man Simpson, yelling at the clouds. But yeah, like you said, we're doing awesome things. Small podcast ours, we're growing. Appreciate having you guys on here. We've had other guys on and Turning Point USA people related to this Charlie Kirk stuff. So it's like, I have to believe there are good people trying to do the best what they have with systems that are not operating the way that they should. What do you think, Scott? How far have we come? How far do we need to go?
I mean, when John and I started doing the podcast, I would say probably, what was it, episode 15 we started, and then we came up with different ideas with officers and enlisted and having 5-panel and then so forth and just growing. But all the stories are there for everybody to see. I know John's done a lot of things on his side of the thing, on his spectrum for his communities. For Western Pennsylvania, I've been out in the public eye in my communities, speaking events and everything else. We have to keep pushing the envelope. We cannot, like AK said, we cannot let this fall whatsoever, because if that falls, then so goes everything else if it continues. So as far as the documentary goes, I thought it was great. I thought that all of us as a team in different parts of the United States and everything came together and made it happen. You know what I mean? And we just keep pushing that word out. And I'm so thankful to be on here with you guys as we keep doing what we got to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We all got our own skills, knowledge, abilities, experience. You know, I've never had something I have in common with so many different people from different parts of the country. AK, David, you know, all these. So it's amazing that I've been able to meet such great people. It's unfortunate it has to be under these circumstances, but you go to war with the army you have, not the one you wish you had. And so, yeah, it's been great. What do you guys see happening in the future for yourselves?
Oh yeah, man. Well, I'm actually getting ready to go back to school. Hopefully, come August. I'm trying to get through the VRE program, Chapter 31 through the VA. But
that's a good one. Yep.
But yeah. So I mean, I'm still waiting on my back pay, waiting on my retirement. You know, everybody thinks Trump signed the executive order, so a lot of individuals think everything's cool now. You know, service members are good. We're not good. You know, since 2022, I got kicked out, and I served 17 years, 10 months of service. I was kicked out. I was on my last contract. I was just waiting to retire. If I would have did 2 more months, I would have been locked in. They wouldn't have been able to kick me out. But you know, they pushed it to go fast so they can get rid of me. And every individual on there wanted me to have a general discharge. They signed general. I only got an honorable because I went to a separation board. They still kicked me out, but at least it went up a little bit. So yeah,
good man. Yeah, do the best you can. And I've been through my stuff and trying to figure out the benefits. David has his own experience, and you just have to work with each other. I coordinate with different veteran organizations, and I'm usually just learning from another veteran. Be like, what have you been through? And I don't get to do necessarily the same things that he or she went through, but it's just like, just tell me what that program's like, and then I'll guys know you control your own career, you know, be your own advocate. It goes even far, just as important when it comes to switching from being currently serving to a veteran.
I would say it becomes more important.
Yeah, because once you don't have an HR department, or
you have a command group,
you don't have a planning
that are supposed to advocate for you. Once you're out, it's all you.
Yep, trying to kick your butt. I was that first line leader many times. I told my soldiers, hey, get your stuff figured out. Here are these benefits, educational, you know, all these things. They're like, yeah, that whatever, not right now. And I'm like, all right, you know.
Yeah.
No, it's hard. I was classified.
I'm saying it's hard because, you know, for myself anyways, your entire career is in the military, and you get out and you don't know how to be a civilian no more. And now you got to like relearn everything. It's a trip, man. It's crazy. Yeah. But definitely going back to school. I'm just waiting on this lawsuit to go through, and you know, hopefully we can get some more information pushed out, some more podcasts. We're trying to hit 100 right now. We're almost there, and then we're gonna sit down and talk and rethink a few things after that, and that's where we're at.
Yeah. Do you guys say what location you're in or by or anything?
I'm right next to Fort Bragg right now.
Okay.
North Carolina.
Pittsburgh.
All right. Yeah. If I'm in the area doing anything, we should coordinate something. Or if there's an event, AK and David and I went to AmFest last year. John Franklin was there too, and Caroline Stanzik as well. So yeah, we got to go where there's ways for us to do work. What about you, Scott? Where do you see yourself?
Where there's
going?
people, yeah.
Well, for me, I was able to retire honorably, so I got back in before even the executive order and everything. So I was able to fight back constitutionally. I got back in, did a 6-month extension, was able to retire honorably April 6th of 2024, but still they owe me back pay of 17 months and points towards retirement. So I'm put the Air Force BCMR in as well. And I have a ton of evidence, just like other service members do, from what they experienced. So we've got all this paperwork and everything, about 5-inch binder thick, full of evidence on these.
Keep your records, people.
Cowards. Yep. All of these cowards that are out there that, just want to sweep everything under the rug. Well, you can't sweep crimes under the rug, especially when you did it to your own people that stood up against you. On top of that, I have a full-time job. So I'm a federal contractor. I'm a national sales executive. So with doing that, then I also do the podcast with John, and we've done other things like we went down to South Carolina. We had a big trip, and we went down for Lance Castle's court martial. So we supported a military brother who was going through. I mean, this kid. Let me tell you something.
Real quick,
He's
was that the
gone
guy in the
through-
film that was being dragged out of the
Yes.
the big rig?
They did illegal cell extraction on him. Yeah, so we did a podcast with him. I think it was 8 to 10 hours
Wow.
with breaks. But his cast episode 48 through 52 was broken down into 4 different episodes because of how long it was and how much evidence and information we put out. But his second court martial, we went down to South Carolina, and we had a big trip there, and we met a lot of us had come together for the very first time. And we went there and supported him. And I know that when we walked in that courtroom, his face lit up because he was all by himself, man. And we can't. The thing about with what we're doing, all of us collectively, even though you guys are doing things on a political side, but we're all doing everything for our country. You know what I mean? We cannot, and from a standpoint, from a service member standpoint, our oath is forever. Yeah, we may have retired and everything like that, but you can't leave service members behind who are injured from this, who are going through the toughest of tough times through this, families that they've lost, children that, you know what I mean? Like this thing that has happened, people don't understand the magnitude. People have lost everything. And we can't leave any service members behind, not just service members, but American citizens as well. Like, that's why it's so important to do what we're doing here.
Yeah. I keep having more conversations with, friends, family, whatever, when it makes sense. And I'm willing to talk to people and like change my mind, prove me wrong about the things that they put out there that turned out to not be true. The transmissibility, the prevention, the mandates, whether it be, I'm willing to have those conversations with people that used to be more, I guess, forceful in the last couple of years. And I'm not really having those conversations. People are just like, all right, let's go talk about something else, or I'm busy. I'm like, okay, yep, I see your character is showing. But yeah, David and AK, do you got any final questions for these guys before we roll into some fun or more quicker news topics?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, my big thing is, if you guys at any point need help with your veteran stuff, reach out to Drew, have him get in touch with me. I had to go through, I was declared non-deployable, sent home medically. And then I went to the VA and they gave me 10%. And I had that for about 10 years of my life. It wasn't until I was like at the end of my 30s that I finally I'm at the end of my 30s now. The beginning of my 30s. I'm so old, I just can't keep track anymore. That I finally got to 100%. So I'm very familiar with the uphills and the workarounds, and even just some of the phrasing you have to use in your disability claims. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be this hard, and yet it is. But yeah, if you guys need anything in regards to that, have Drew reach out to me, and I'd love to help you out.
Yeah, and I would say that I got a question for each one of you. What, from your perspective, from your experience, what is the number one thing that you would tell someone that they can do? Because there's like a million things everyone can do, but from your specific experience, and I'll start with you, John, what's the one thing that you would want people to do?
Yeah, exactly. First, I want to say that, Drew, I put your podcast that we did in the private chat we had, and also put the Lance Castle. It's a remastered one, and it was actually right before yours. So that's that 10-hour podcast smashed into like 2 hours or whatever it is. So it's a very informative.
I'll show that a little bit right now while you answer your.
We'll throw that in the description of this episode when it goes up on YouTube.
But yeah, so I usually tell people, do anything. Just anything, like, watch, share, talk to someone, start a conversation, educate yourself. If you're doing something, that's better than nothing. If you're doing nothing, then there's a problem. Like, you got to do something small. As long as you're getting the information, and you're sharing it and you're talking to somebody about it, like at a bare minimum, that's the least you can do. But guess what? At least you're educating somebody else, and that's what we need. We need everybody to know what happened and what's going on. And then I think from there, once everybody figures it out, then we can, actually do something about it.
Fair. What about you, Scott?
Well, from my experience, and everything that we've done, my side of it, I would say never surrender, never give up. If you saw the magnitude that's happened to this country, to these service members, to American citizens, your family, your children, your grandchildren, what have you, you need to stand up via the Constitution, Bill of Rights, you know what I mean? And Declaration of Independence. Use those documents, use your voice. Don't quit. If you know what something was done wrong to you, stand up and fight back. Do it respectfully, do it the right way. Similar to what we've done, a lot of letters and things of that nature. Did we get a response? No. You know what I mean? Even we had a letter campaign that we sent up to the Sec War and got no response. The thing is, too, that what we did is certified all the letters. So we have the documents, we have the evidence, we have the information. We sent this out to you. We want a response. We want something done about it. We want the accountability for these crimes that were done to humanity, pretty much. And just don't quit, man. Just don't ever give up. Because if you give up, that just lets the bully continue to do what they've done already.
Yeah, good point. All right, let's jump into some more side articles, some lightning round stuff. This
Lightning round.
Yeah.
Wheel
our
of
wheel of
topics.
news.
Wheel of news.
Wheel of news. I didn't know what we were calling it. The wheel of news.
Wheel of news. Dave's not a fan of the spinner one, so
What? Listen,
What do? Just hit it and then spin it?
there you go.
I'm trying to keep us monetized. All right.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All right, what's going on with ICE agents using lethal? There it is. ICE agent uses lethal force on Mexican national.
Mexican.
Is this one
Yes.
yours, AK?
Yeah. This one's mine. I actually closed it out like a second ago, so I'm gonna pull it back up. But just in general, I don't know if you guys even saw earlier today, there was another recorded incident of ICE going after an illegal alien and tried to run over the ICE agent, and the ICE agent let her buck, and another dead person. This continues to happen over and over again. And the thing that's so crazy to me is that I think, and this is what I would call me conspiracy theorist, I think that the Democrats were trying to find something, some jump off point that could lead to like a Summer of Love 2.0, leading into the midterm where people are out marching in the streets. And I think because of that, you've seen this type of rhetoric that has come over and over and over again. So initially, we were going to talk about a story that happened down in Texas where a guy who was a Mexican national was confronting ICE. The ICE agent said, "This dude tried to run me over, let her buck, and he's dead." And then there's people that are coming out saying, "No, that's not what happened." And Mexico even said, "We're going to get to the bottom of this. And if we found out that you killed one of ours, there's going to be consequences." So initially, we were going to talk about that story. But then today, a breaking story happened, and I'll pull this up, that in Maine of all places, right? And this is why I'm saying, you call me conspiracy theorist, you had ICE shooting and killing someone. So if you want to read this article here, go ahead, David, take it away, my friend.
DHS breaks hours of silence on deadly ICE shooting in Maine, saying officer was fearing for public safety. However, the statement did not explain why the ICE officer thought the driver was a threat. This is from CNN, so we can count on them to be fair.
That's all right, man. We're just getting the point out
what
there.
we know
don't trust CNN. Come on. If you're watching this show, don't trust CNN.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Allegedly, according to CNN. DHS statement, an immigration and customs enforcement officer fired his weapon fearing for public safety as the 26-year-old victim of Monday's fatal shooting in Maine attempted to flee the scene. The Department of Homeland Security said in its first official statement nearly 12 hours after the incident. Law enforcement sources said they were stunned by the statement, which did not explain why the ICE officer thought the driver was a threat. Conflicting reports. Senator Angus King spoke with DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, who said the man was not the target of the warrant, according to the Maine Senator's office. Mullen had initially told King the man was the target of a warrant, according to the Senator's office. ICE accountability. The shooting comes just days after an ICE agent fatally shot a Mexican immigrant during a traffic stop in Houston. The deaths have reignited calls for accountability among ICE agents, as 4 people have now been killed by federal agents this year, linked to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
So here's what I want to say, right? To my point. Even the way that, and this is instructive, the way that CNN is framing this article is as if DHS is just going around indiscriminately murdering people on the street. That's what they want to invoke. And they want people to then rise up against ICE. You have in Michigan, they have a primary, and the Democrats are battling it out. Republicans really aren't battling out. We basically know who the Republican nominee is going to be for Senate. But you have, again, another communist, Abdul Sayed, who is like, literally, I'm running to abolish ICE. If you believe that ICE is bad, if you believe that DHS is bad, we will not have a country. But that's where they're at. So they're in my opinion, they are trying to spark a second summer of love of civil unrest. The truth of the matter is, just like every agency, yes, there are bad actors within our government. Could this be a case where government officials went too far and they just execute someone? Is that possible? Yes, of course it's possible. But the way that they're always framing it is that every action by ICE that is in a confrontation with an illegal alien or with an American citizen that is trying to get in their face, I think is by design, to the point that Democrats all across this country that are elected officials have continually told citizens to get in the face of ICE agents. That's what they continually do. And I'll remind you that ICE is deporting at this point, because they started off the worst of the worst, literally convicted sex offenders, convicted murderers, right? That's who they're going after. And the story after story after story, like, it's not a psyop. They're literally going after people that were already convicted of harming American citizens and then deporting them and grabbing them. And then there's American citizens that are jumping and interfering. But that's my 2 cents on it. What do you guys think? Is ICE and psyop to kick off a second revolution or civil war? Is this, government being government? I'm just kind of curious your guys' perspective.
Yeah. So, I don't like ICE being around doing their thing, getting the American people used to individuals walking around, inspecting things, checking things. I think that's one part of it, but, and that could be bad all in its own. But I mean, they're also trying to solve a problem, from the border being open and individuals coming over illegally. So I understand that aspect too. When are these damn, news media outlets going to be held accountable for trying to twist stories and manipulate stories? That's the other thing. Like, when is that going to happen? And what are like the rules of engagement, right? What's our role, right? That's the other thing. And then, as far as politicians, like, basically calling out for individuals that get in ICE's face or whatever, like, they're basically sending those individuals to their death. Like, when are these individuals going to get held accountable too? I mean, hey, maybe if we let ICE do their job, they'll knock it out and get off the damn street. And, if we don't have the politicians backing and they're creating more problems, like, when are we going to take care of those individuals? Again, when are we going to take care of the news media outlets for, trying to spin off and make something like entertainment rather than actual news? Like, what actually happened? Well, I don't know what happened. Well, then don't fucking publish it. I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss or not, but
Nope, you're fine. You're fine, man. Yeah, you're fine.
But yeah, I mean, that's my opinion. I think they're just trying to do a job. Again, I don't think it's good for them to be around the country, getting the American people used to them being out there. You go back to Germany and, the brown coats or whatever. But set aside, we do have a problem and we need to fix it. And, this is one way to do it. I don't have another way. So, I mean, there we are.
All right, let's roll into another show or another topic. Rapid fire. Oh, I'm not sharing yet. There we go. Mitch McConnell.
Good
He's had a busy week.
Yeah,
So,
no, I mean, love it when synergy happens.
Yeah, we're talking about Republican medical conditions and passing away. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, how about this, David? Do you know anything about Mitch McConnell right now?
I know only what I've seen other podcasts cover, and I've seen some of the stuff on Ground News, and it basically sounds like the man was either people thought he wasn't alive, or that he was at one point the reported potential thing was brain dead. I mean, if you look at his political career, I think he's been brain dead for a minute. It's just his body finally caught up to what his mind was already doing. That's just
turtles
my
are just a
personal
little bit
opinion.
slow. You know, even in
Oh my God, I see what you're doing. Yes,
Let me just
that
read this
picture-
one portion. All right. So
They
Senator
did him
Mitch
dirty in this
McConnell,
photo.
he released a statement on his health on Sunday, along with a photo of himself with his wife, Elaine Chao, who came back from China, but didn't leave China early, which is a whole other thing. After questions swirled about his condition, McConnell said he was briefly unconscious after he took a fall last month, and he'd been dealing with a mild case of pneumonia. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older. And that is my Mitch McConnell impression, the senator said, addressing growing questions about his well-being. Even in the public eye, I feel that same instinct. I can't help it. And everyone's like, that's AI. That's not real.
Oh, when you said growing older, I thought you said rolling over like a turtle.
What is on that theme?
So just real quick, round the horn. Do you guys believe this? Is Senator Mitch McConnell still among us? Is he deceased? Is this AI? Just kind of curious what you guys is quick.
Well, I'm just going to say,
thoughts are.
generally speaking, we're in a strange time. Like, we all talk about these politicians being older and pass the torch and stuff like that. And it looks like they're going to have to, whether they want to or not. Like, just with Lindsey Graham and now with Mitch McConnell, you know, Trump's nearing 80 and stuff like that. Pelosi's, you know, getting away and stuff. I don't know. And the way that, you know, plastics and pharmaceuticals and, you know, all this stuff, I don't think our older generations are going to be as lively as they were before. So prepare for a lot more stories like this. And like you said, with the whole AI stuff and what's real, what's not, what's manufactured, modified images, we're in for a treat.
No, we are. What do you think, Scott?
Back to limitations.
What's that?
What do you think, Scott? Is Mitch McConnell, is he among us? Is that AI generated? What do you think about Mitch McConnell, man? Is he?
I think I just rolled snake eyes on this one, and I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna say, if the dude hasn't been out in the public eye for, you know, over a month now, then
I need video proof of life, dude. Holding up a
no body, no
newspaper.
case. I agree.
No,
with
dude.
this,
Look at the news. Look at the newspaper. When was that from?
Right.
There,
You
right?
can't
I mean,
even
I've
see
seen
it.
stuff
You
on
can't
it.
even see it.
Somebody said it was from the beginning of June. So if that's the case, then that was a way before picture. And dude's probably not here with us at this present time. They're just holding out. They did the same thing. If you remember, they've done the same thing with others. So if you look at the track record,
Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah. Feinstein, Dianne Feinstein, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yep. They just drag it out. You know what I mean? But I don't think he's here. So that's
Which is crazy, because like, you go AWOL, you're at home, you don't show up to work in the military, you know, be like, hey, where are you? Are you here anymore? Send the MPs, you know.
What do you think, John? What is your quick twitch thought on?
Yeah, he's 84. He's pretty up there. His wife looked pretty happy, so honestly, I think she probably took him out. And
dang. What about you, David? What are your thoughts?
Oh, listen, that was the best answer. Like, I don't think I can top that. All I'll say is, you know, we saw similar things with Joe Biden, right? When he was clearly not there, but they were trying to pretend he was there. And yeah, I agree with what they're saying, like with what Scott was saying. No body, no case. You know, it's just like when you watch a movie and a character dies, but you don't see the body. You're like, they're coming back. They're going to be in Act 3.
Yep. Shredder has come back for Terminator.
Yup.
Shredder.
Ninja Turtles 2,
Shredder.
Secret of the Ooze.
There you go. The other thing is, I was thinking Equilibrium, right, where the leader of the country dies and the other guy just uses AI to generate these images of him still giving speeches, and everybody thinks they're still listening to the right guy.
Congratulations, Palm Beach Airport officially renamed for Donald Trump.
Yes,
Talk us through this one.
Yeah, Trump wakes up basking in glow of new honor after going to bed, raging about assassination plans. President Donald Trump woke up glowing in the bask of having an airport named after him just hours after he went to bed, raging at Iran for wanting to assassinate him. This week ended with a pair of exclusives from CNN and the Wall Street Journal claiming that Israel showed the Trump administration new intel on an alleged Iranian plot to kill the president. But just as a quick aside, I mean, isn't Iran always trying to kill the president? Trump went from going to bed angry on Friday night, warning in a social media post that there are 1,000 missiles ready to go if he's killed, which will be followed by thousands more. And he's already given the order to strike all areas of Iran for a 1-year period of time, which is pretty based. But Trump seemed to be more self-soothing when he woke up Saturday morning, firing off a series of posts about the newly rechristened Palm Beach Airport, now known as President Donald J. Trump International Airport. Just after 8 a.m., Trump wrote, "Wow, Palm Beach has always been a special place to me. So beautiful, President Donald J. Trump." And I mean, some people are saying that they haven't quite yet changed the airport code, but eventually it's going to be DJT. And I'm super happy about it. I love Trump. I think he's a man. And I love probably like 60% of it because it pisses off people that have Trump derangement syndrome. I'll be honest with you. I just think it's funny. People just go, freak out. So real quick around the horn, you guys happy? Don't care, whatever. It's an airport named after Donald John Trump. Around the horn, what do you guys think?
Yeah, real quick, I'm fine with it. I don't care. There's George Bush International Toll Highway, whatever, in Texas, in Dallas. You go to Kuwait or Iraq, and they have President whatever, blah, blah. It's a long sign. At least, or they translate it to English, and it turns to really long. So this is a normal thing. There's an MLK Boulevard in every city, apparently.
Yep.
Whatever.
David?
I'm here for it. I, like you, enjoy watching leftists lose it, and just irrational people lose it. Do I like everything about Donald Trump? No. Do I like some of the ways he conducts himself in certain situations publicly? No. But I didn't vote for the guy because I wanted him to be the head pastor at my church. I voted for him because I wanted somebody with some guts and some tenacity in the White House for a change, because we haven't had that in a couple of decades. So I'm here for this, and I'm looking forward to the fallout. My ex has been I've been looking up all the meltdowns, and at some point I'm gonna get on TikTok and see all the people crying, and it's really gonna make my day.
Yeah.
Let John go next.
Oh, thanks, Scotty.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I don't care that much. But what I will say is, at least he's not like trying to erase our history and turn Fort Bragg into Fort Liberty and all this other garbage. So he got an airport.
Yep.
Preach.
Cool.
Preach it.
Yep.
Can't wait. I can't wait till they carve him up on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's my favorite
one.
one to troll them, dude. I troll people all the time with that, man. I'm like, soon. I have like a really good AI generated one. I'll just be like, soon.
Yep. You would think the airport's bad. Wait till he's on Mount Rushmore. Right?
As long as he pays for it.
True.
Hey, and a final RIP to Sam Neill. I've been following this guy's career since I was a young one. I saw Jurassic Park in like 1992. I was probably too young to see it, but amazing, just performer, actor. He was even acting in the last couple of years in one of the last Jurassic Park World movies. Not my favorite, but this guy's awesome. Yeah, I'm showing IMDb right now. He was in what was that?
Bicentennial
Man.
Man.
Yeah, dude, he's the father of the. Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah,
got so many good people in that movie.
A lot of bangers.
He's one of those people. He's taken on so many different roles, and you even mentioned it earlier. Merlin, the miniseries that they did.
Yeah,
so
dude.
good,
Yep.
so underrated. it's one of my favorites. Now, the special effects don't stand up, but that's fine. That's like I'll watch
No,
like
it's
the
a good story.
2000s
I'm with
Battlestar
you.
Galactica because the acting's better than the special effects, and all that makes it better than anything I'm watching currently because now we have bad acting and bad special effects. But I have the Ground News article here real quick if you want me to read this.
Yeah, let me just do the filmography real quick.
Oh yeah.
Look
Hit
at
us.
some of this stuff. Here's Lord of the Rings. You're more big in that than I am, but yeah, he did a great role in there.
He was offered Lord of the Rings.
What was that?
He was offered Lord of the Rings. He wasn't in Lord of the Rings.
What was he in? Are you sure?
Was he in? What was
Hold
the
on,
Brad?
I'm looking it up.
What was the Brad Pitt movie? Was he in that one? Like the one from like the 80s where I can't even remember what it's called now.
But anyway, he's been an amazing
Legend. That's what I'm thinking of.
He was offered a part in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but he had to turn it down for Jurassic Park 3 in 2001. The rumor mill is Peter Jackson wanted him to either potentially audition and try out for Gandalf or Elrond. So roles that went to Ian McKellen and oh my god,
here's that Merlin.
I can't think of his name.
But Event Horizon
Agent
is
Smith.
one of my favorite sci-fi.
Oh, Event Horizon, good one, dude.
Very good one.
Yeah, he was in a lot,
I
dude.
just want to show some of like all the things that he's done.
So much.
Born in 47. Usually they show, look at this, 155 he's been an actor in. And then you can go, or 158, producer 9, director 9, soundtracks, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
And it looks like there's 3 projects coming up that'll probably be released in the next year or so that are things that he probably filmed previously before, obviously the events of this weekend.
And you never know. Some of those pre-production never happened the way they wanted to. It's IMDb.
Right.
You gotta take it with
100%.
But you're right. They could modify.
Yeah. So real quick here, I'll just read this off. I also like that they highlight Jurassic Park, but Jurassic Park star Sam Neill dies at age 78. Sam Neill, a celebrated New Zealand actor known for playing Dr. Alan Grant in the Jurassic Park films, died suddenly at age 78 in Sydney, Australia, surrounded by family. That also explains the Lord of the Rings because they filmed it there, and a lot of the people they cast were from that area, Europe or New Zealand. Neill had been diagnosed in 2022 with stage 3 T-cell lymphoma. That's what we're going to go with. but was declared cancer-free at the time of his death, according to his family. Born in Northern Ireland and raised in New Zealand, Neill had a diverse career spanning over 5 decades, including notable roles in films like The Piano, Event Horizon, as well as TV series such as Peaky Blinders and The Tudors. I remember that. He was a fantastic villain in Peaky Blinders. Neill was also known as a winemaker and was knighted in 2022 for his contributions to acting, with tributes praising his warm resilience.
Nice.
Excellent. Just real quick, favorite movie?
On for Red October.
Good one. I went on a submarine watching list last year, and I watched that one, and I'm like, oh wow, forgot he was in this.
Ping, Vasil, one ping only.
Yeah, his favorite.
Anybody else favorite movie?
His favorite movie.
I would say the Merlin miniseries, both part 1 and part 2.
I'm gonna go straight
rewatch
classic.
that every couple of years.
I'm gonna go straight classic Jurassic Park, man.
Yep. I like Event Horizon, but yeah, aka Jurassic Park. It would not be Jurassic Park without the close-ups, you created the dynasty, all these things, and the pushback and his character development, how he's like against the kids at first and then like protecting them, all things that we talk about, a man should be in society.
And in another universe, he played Gandalf the Grey in an alternate timeline.
Yeah, true.
He was the one on the bridge yelling, "You shall not pass," and I'm just picturing it in my head, and I love it.
All right, with him being let's hear from our guests. Where can people find you? What's your final message? Scott, what do you think? Stick around too.
Where they can find me. I'm on X, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, and of course the Forgotten Soldiers podcast. So that's where you can find me on Rumble.
Yeah. Excellent. Got anything big coming up?
Just continue working with John and seeing what else we can do, help out service members. Other than that, I'm a grandfather, so I have 2 grandchildren, 3 children, married for 27 years. I'm just chilling out, enjoying the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Just working and then kicking vacation, stuff like that. So
Good to hear.
Yep.
John, what about you?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to start with the first big thing we got coming up. I think, Scott, we got we're doing a podcast with Rody Rob and a little collaboration. And basically that's going to show everything that we did in Independence, Ohio for the Duty to Disobey documentary. And Brad Miller did a really, really good speech prior to the showing of that. And I don't know if you have it on his, what is that, Substack? Yeah, he has it on the Substack, but the speech was actually recorded. And so once that all gets pushed out and published, that'll be awesome as well. But yeah, that's coming out soon.
Yep. And here's your Rumble, The Forgotten Soldiers.
Yep. I'm on Rumble. I'm on Facebook. Facebook, it's just Delarm John. It's like backwards because that's cool. And then on X, I'm at John Delarm 19344. I'm on True Social, but I really don't go on there too much. Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Excellent. David, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me at all my socials at The Peruvian Gentleman, where, like I said before, we're posting memes, we're engaging in debates, we're making leftists cry, we're talking about good storytelling, we're talking about men and how we can be gentlemen, how we can improve ourselves, whether it's our health, our mentality, the books we're reading, the way we conduct ourselves in public and in our careers. And you can also find me here on this awesome podcast with my 2 co-hosts, Drew and AK.
Excellent. AK, what about yourself?
Yep. So you can follow me on X, Facebook, and on Instagram at Real AK Kamara, putting out content still on a pretty regular basis. You can also follow me over on TikTok at AK Kamara. I just barely dropped under 150,000 followers, so that's super lame. But I'm going to start creating and cranking out more content. I know I say that every single week. But what I'm really focused on is this amazing podcast, because I think the amount of good we can do, not just in Minnesota, but across the country, is real. I think that we have a very unique perspective of how we can actually change and impact culture. And to that point, we said earlier at the beginning of the show that we have launched a way for people to be able to actually support our show financially. So if you go to subscribestar.com/CW Unchained, then you will see that you can become a subscriber. So we got 3 subscription tiers. Warrior tier, which is $5 a month. That's how you help become a supporter of the podcast. $25 a month, you'll be a culture warrior. Supporters who want to help the podcast grow in its reach by supporting upgrades to our equipment, technology, and platform. Or a Culture Warrior Unchained, $100 per month. True supporters of the vision of our podcast to become an live, in-person, 5-day-a-week podcast with true cultural impact in Minnesota and across the nation. So what we'll be doing is we'll be posting. Some posts will be public, which is for anyone that just follows us, our subscribe star, like this post right here. And then we're also going to have subscriber-only content. So if you want to see our first ever episode 0 podcast episode, you can become a subscriber and you can get access to episode 0. So this is where we're going to be putting a lot of our content. So again,
never before seen.
We appreciate all of the love, all of the support, whether it's liking the show, sharing the show, all of that's great. But we want to be able to create a place where people can actually support our growth as a podcast, because honestly, it would be nothing better than if all 5 of us right now were in the same room, sitting at a table, being able to have this conversation. It's just, you gain something a little bit more. And that's what we hope to be able to do. So that's my plug.
Yep. And I will say, if anybody subscribes at 25 or above, you get a free copy of Duty to Disobey. I'll figure out how I can send it to you and get the information. But anybody subscribes at the $25 level or above, well, I'll I'll send out a
If you do the $100, we'll have AK sing you some Jodeci or something. It'll be good.
Some jokes. We want subscribers. We don't want people to cancel. All right, come on, man.
All right, we'll get more into that in the future. But yeah, we're building something awesome here. And John, Scott, would love to have you guys on again. And any other way that we can collaborate together and have a good time, push us forward. You can find me. I'm Drew Outstanding on X. That's where I talk about more of the spicy things and all that kind of stuff. On YouTube, Operation Drew Outstanding. That's more of my public speaking, walking around the world, stumbling now that my feet are paralyzed. But I'm doing the best I can to get out there. I've actually been out in the heat in Minnesota, humid, the last couple weeks, pushing as hard as I can, getting my own business really kind of going. So creating awesome opportunities. I used to be a tactical operations planner in Army Aviation, and now I switched that over to cultural and entertainment planner for company outings, nonprofit fundraisers, or if AK just wants to take the boys out on an awesome night to see Jack Johnson, for example. So yeah, making a difference. We got to have a good time. My Army career is over now. And so I'm going in the direction to have a good time using the skills I learned. So I encourage other veterans to do that. Like John talked about, and Scott, get off the couch, get out of the bed, get your mind going, get your body going. But like I said, I'm Drew Outstanding, co-host AK Kamara, the Peruvian gentleman. We are out of here. Thank you. Have a great week.
Culture Warriors Unchained.